Peace and love. My name is Maya Luisa, and I am a fertility awareness and sexual health educator. And I help women to conceive naturally by learning their body, their internal rhythms, and enhance their fertility in natural ways. I've been helping women conceive for many years, and in fact, 100% of the women who have been in my care have gone on to conceive and give birth to healthy babies. I have a unique approach to fertility, so I like to offer you maybe a different perspective than you've ever heard before, and some things to consider on your journey to calling your baby into the world. In order to answer how to increase your fertility, that answer is as unique as each of us are individually, in that we all have different landscape of our emotions, things that have happened to us, dietary needs, our hormonal balance, our functions. Everything is unique. So there's not an overall protocol or sweeping 5 tips that's going to work for everyone. The answer to that is specific to the individual and what they're going through, their unique landscape of their emotional body, their physical body, their vitality, their hormones, as well as the male partner and his contribution to all of this. First thing to look at and to consider is your heart. Yes, your heart. I want you to take inventory, maybe do some journaling on your heart, your emotional landscape. What have you been through? What are your overall emotion? What's your overall emotional quality with regard to conceiving, with regard to fertility? I once had a client who was trying to conceive for 8 years. It was wreaking havoc on her emotions. She became very depressed over it. It caused a lot of issues in her marriage, in her confidence, even in her work. So that is very different emotional quality than someone who has been trying to conceive for 3 months. Nothing's happening. I just want to see what's going on. Do you see the difference? So really look at your life, what you've been through. What are your emotional quality? What is the overriding emotions that are coming up for you and your partner during this time? Look at your life with great compassion, with great love, and just have a moment to check in with your heart, because that is something to consider on your conceiving journey. We must look at the whole body, the whole picture, and to understand exactly what's going on and what to do. The second thing to think about, consider, journal about, is your mind. What are your thoughts about your conceiving journey? What are the stories that you're telling yourself? What are the stories that you've heard? What are the stories of your culture? What are the stories between you and your partner? What are the stories that your partner, or the thoughts that your partner is having? I'll give you an example. I had a client who is Latina, and in her culture, and overall just stereotypes, is that Latinas are very, very fertile. There was even this episode on Modern Family when the guy was like, oh yeah, she's Latina, you just sneeze on her and she gets pregnant. So there's this overarching stereotype that Latinas are very fertile. And because she was Latina and experiencing infertility, she felt a lot of shame, and she was walking around with a lot of shame, and she was very silent and took a very long time to really face what was going on with her and really come to terms with her journey and what needs to be done, because she felt even more shame because culturally she felt like this should not be a problem for her. So consider, what are the stories? What are the stories from your culture? What are the thoughts that you're thinking surrounding your fertility? And journal on that. Beyond the heart and the mind, we have to go to the body. We'll start with the liver. The liver, which is responsible for fuel management, to store nutrients, for detoxification. It is very important that you have a lot of harmony and balance within your hormones. And so if you have anything off with your liver, you're going to have something off with your hormones. We must look to the gut because the gut is responsible for absorbing nutrients, making sure that you have a bowel movement every day, that you're getting enough water, that you're getting enough fiber, enough veggies. And then we look to the nervous system because the nervous system, stress management, inflammation is incredibly key to your fertility, because when your body registers stress, she's not going to send that vitality down to the reproductive system. The reproductive system is almost like the luxurious system of the body, in that the body, if it's registering stress, is not going to prioritize sending energy vitality to the reproductive system. It's going to prioritize survival. So if you have chronic stress, maybe it's from your job, maybe it's from traffic, maybe it's from social media. Our bodies are ancient, but we live in this modern culture. So your body is absorbing and experiencing all this stress, and it's going into survival mode. It's increasing your inflammation, and if you're not completing your stress response, again, that's going to throw off your vitality and can certainly impact your fertility. The next thing I want to talk about is the male partner. Most people assume that male fertility issues only happen in older men or are very rare, but research has a different story. Male fertility issues is actually a global crisis. It is going on across continents. Since the 1970s, globally, the sperm count has dropped by 50%. Yes, not just a lifestyle thing in which men are maybe more sedentary in their lifestyle, although that is a factor. Research shows that the production of plastics is in direct correlation with the decline of sperm counts. There are certain elements that is put in plastics to make it more bendable. There are phthalates and bisphenols that are put in plastic to make it more bendable, to be more pliable, are actually things that are seeping into our food or seeping into our bodies, and it is causing an endocrine disruption, especially in male bodies. And so there's a direct correlation that scientists are now doing way more research on in the impact of plastic. So the more that plastic has been produced, which is going up and up and up, is a direct correlation with the decline of sperm, because women tend to continuously blame ourselves and our bodies for the fertility. Male fertility issues is on the rise, and it's something to look at. So you want to also consider getting a sperm panel done for your partner, reducing plastics, making sure he's in his tip-top health, healthy in his mind, body, spirit, by going outside, getting in touch with nature, being around other men, exercising, drinking water. Next thing to consider to increase your fertility is to look at your food and your relationship with food. You want to always have a beautiful, healthy hormonal balance. And one of the things that can get us off balance, or that creates an unfavorable environment for conception, is heavily processed foods, seed oils. Look at your plate and recognize the food. Is it something that your grandmother would recognize? Whole grain, nutrient-dense foods. Make sure that you're eating your protein in the morning. Make sure that you're having nice, healthy fats, because that is how you're going to build your hormones. And taking time to cook your own foods. Really try to get into the frequency of mothering yourself. Mothering the mother is a concept that I love, and I really encourage my clients to really adopt this. Like, if you are a super productive, high energy, high impact woman and you like to just be independent and do all the things, it is another energy to sit back and really get into the energy of mothering the mother, getting into the energy of, I am going to be a mother now. How can I mother myself? How can I sit down and prepare a nice meal? How can I sit down and drink my water, make sure that I'm nourished, make sure that I'm well watered, make sure that I'm well rested? Because the society has us on this very high, productive, impact, go skinny jeans and lots of lattes. But mothering the mother is a concept of just giving back to yourself, slowing down, eating your meals, and really unplugging from a fast-paced lifestyle. Water, agua, very important. Make sure that you are staying hydrated. Make sure that you're drinking filtered water, preferably spring water, and make sure that you just stay hydrated. Sometimes it is just a matter of hydration, meaning that your body just doesn't have enough hydration to produce cervical fluid or enough cervical fluid to help you to conceive. Sometimes it is literally the basics of just sunlight, water, great food, great rest. Herbal supplements are something that I don't recommend for all clients, but for some clients I do. And so if you want to start to work with some herbs to support your conceiving journey, you're going to want to go to an herbalist. You cannot just go on Pinterest or whoever and just go and research basic herbs and start to ingest them for yourself, because that protocol might not be working for you, or that herb might not be specifically what you need. Timing of intimacy is a big one, because most women are relying on period trackers, relying on things outside of themselves, such as apps, period trackers, ovulation kits, and all of these things outside of you to time your intimacy, and it's just not working. I recently had a client who really was disheveled. She thought something was wrong with her. She was trying to conceive for 13 months based off of her ovulation strips. Ovulation strips are not accurate. So she was trying to conceive and just the timing was off. I worked with her for 3 weeks. I explained to her and educated her on her own fertility window. She conceived within 3 weeks of working with me, and congratulations to her. When we learn our body, we become sovereign women who are the experts of our body, and that is exactly what you're supposed to be through education. So through learning your specific fertile window, your specific fertile window is not always going to be accurate based off of an app. Most apps are using an algorithm. We are not algorithms. We are not robots. We do not always have the same cycle every cycle. For example, let's say, so anytime the app is doing some type of prediction for you, it's not going to be accurate. And I'll tell you why. Let's say last month you moved, or you got married, or you suffered a loss. That shift in your body might impact, might not, but it might impact the estrogen. It might impact the timing of your ovulation. It might impact your cycle. There's certain things that you do, such as traveling, such as grieving, such as stress at work, such as all of these things impact our cycle. You're going through something, your cycle is going to be impacted by it. And that is why in fertility awareness, we teach cycle mapping. And so cycle mapping is a daily observation of your fertility, because it is subject to change. Because if you know, if you're in a woman's body, everything is subject to change. That's what we do. We change, we morph, we grow, we spiral. We have very unique ways of expressing our reaction to our life, our reaction, the way our body is reacting to life, the way our body is impacted by the things that we experience. And so it's not going to be this set way. It's going to be different. That's why we cannot base it off of an algorithm. That's why we cannot base it off of anything outside of us. We have to look at, hey, what's going on with my body today? Where is she at? Looking at your own biomarkers, and then knowing if you're in your fertile window or not. And that comes through education. It comes through the observation of both your cervical fluid and your basal body temperature. Sometimes we need energetic movement. We need vitality and energy and blood flow into the pelvic region. Things such as our Vigo pelvic massage. So this is when someone who is trained in our Vigo technique will do a womb massage for you, bringing more life, more vitality, more energy into the womb space. It will also help if you happen to have a tilted uterus. Our Vigo massage will help the uterus to go back into place. And the beautiful thing about our Vigo is that once you go to an Vigo practitioner, they teach you how to do the massage yourself so that you don't have to continue, although you can continue working with them, but you'll also leave with the tools to continue the practice for yourself. Highly recommend you go to an Vigo practitioner. Another way to bring energy, blood flow, vitality, one of the most ancient ways of practicing and opening and increasing fertility is belly dance. I have witnessed this myself in my own life. These are ancient practices that people might overlook. Belly dance is one of the most ancient ways that women have increased their fertility because it brings blood flow, it brings energy, it brings vitality, it moves things around, it helps you so much to get out of your head and into your womb and into your body and connect it to your body in such a magical way. It brings energy to the womb. So get into a belly dance class. I have belly dance classes coming up. Stay connected. Another ancient practice that women have done to increase their fertility, it's not proven by science, it is an ancient practice. It is waist beads. So waist beads, especially the ones that I make, have semi-precious stones. They're surrounded in semi-precious stones, and they help to bring spiritual wisdom, protection, love, energy, vitality, again, to the womb space. And it's just a beautiful way to wrap your womb in love. Last but certainly not least of ways to increase your fertility is to connect to the divinity within you, the divine essence inside of you, and connecting to a higher power that you call on, that you believe in, is always such a source of wisdom, of empowerment, to get that spiritual energy and to really understand that it is a spiritual journey when you're calling a soul into the earth. So connecting more, again, with your partner, you can do some simple writing letters together, writing letters to the baby, praying together, communing together, doing intimacy work, and also just connecting to the divine within you to give you more of that spiritual energy and the empowerment and the support from the spiritual world to help you on this journey, because you are going to have your baby. And if this is a line for you, another exercise you can do is to journal or pray or speak to the spirit of the baby that you want to call forth, and just ask them what they need to feel safe to come here. Is there something else that the baby, the soul of the baby, needs in order to come here? Another thing you can do is do a meditation on your ovaries, on your visualizing and connecting to one golden egg, your golden egg inside of your ovaries, and just doing meditations and prayer work over that golden egg, because that golden egg is your baby. If you're interested in working with me, very in-depth, one-to-one, high-touch way in which we work with your basal body temperature, I educate you, we do cycle mapping, you become the expert of your body, you become the sovereign woman that is the expert of her body. We can do intimacy work and yoga and belly dance and all of the things. The application is in the description box. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace and love.